Damon Martin, MMA fighting here with the man who will battle for the Bellator featherweight title coming up in July. I got to be honest, I said this on Twitter, probably my most anticipated fight of 2021. The great AJ McKee is here with me. AJ, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm hanging in there. How about yourself?
I am fantastic, and thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me as always. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So AJ, it's finally here. You know, we've talked about this fight throughout the tournament. I tried every time we did an interview ahead of one of your fights. I tried not to talk too much about Pitbull, but we all knew this is what we're getting, right? Like we all knew this is what we were working towards.
Yeah, this was the squeeze everybody wanted. This is the most I feel like anticipated fight that the fans have wanted alongside with me myself, I've been calling Pitbull's name for 17 fights. He's been the champ since I first stepped in that cage. So it's now here. There's nowhere else to go. There's no other side of the bracket to jump to. There's you know what I mean? Now you got to look me in my eyes and we got to fight.
Yeah. I know when we talked during the season, you said it didn't really matter to you who was there at the end. I know even like the Emmanuel Sanchez fight was one you were interested in. There's other fights, but was there any, in the back of your head, were you always a little bit rooting for this one just because of the name and kind of the legacy in terms of what he's done, that Pitbull would be the other guy?
Definitely. Just thinking on it, I would say I knew it was going to be him, but I just I wanted to run through the entire division completely, you know what I mean? But especially with him being the 155-pound champ, you know what I mean? I knew regardless we were going to fight sooner or later. So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to put that stamp on the division, and especially with Sanchez running his mouth, he needed to get his ass whooped one time, real good, you know what I mean? So, I was looking forward to doing that, but things work out a certain way, and it's here now, and Pitbull's the man at the moment, so that's who I'm gunning for.
Yeah. Obviously you're undefeated and you've had a lot of hype behind you your entire Bellator career, but do you feel like earning it this way? You had to go through a tournament, a legit tournament, and beat a lot of good guys to get here, because if there's one downside of look at the recent lightweight title fight in the UFC. Now I disagree when they said Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira wasn't a great fight. I disagree. It was a fantastic fight. And Dustin Poirier won to fight Connor, so more power to him. But everyone was complaining, saying you didn't earn it, whatever. Do you feel like no one can complain about how you got here because you absolutely earned this?
Yeah, a lot of people say I haven't been tested and I've been protected and so forth. But man, at the end of the day, I've had 17 fights in that cage. You know what I mean? Any one of those people could have caught me, or something bad could have happened. People don't know the backstory to a lot of fighters' lives. They don't know the things that people go through and so forth. But for me, man, I give shit less. You know what I mean? I'm not satisfied with my career yet. You know what I mean? I feel I'm in the beginning stages of my career. So for me, I give, like I said, two shits less what people think. You know what I mean? Oh, you've been protected. Cool. Well, there's no more protecting at this moment. You know what I mean? So it's like either you show up or you blow up. You know what I mean? And I'm looking to show up and blow up.
Yeah. Taking the personal element. I know it's not really personal. I don't think you hate Pitbull or anything like that, but you're taking that element out of the talk element out of it. When you look at Pitbull as a fighter, when you look at what he's done, are you impressed by him at all?
Definitely, man. He's got some of the accolades and some of the achievements that he's put in his career, being a champ, holding the belt. I think he's held that belt for a good 5-6 years. You know what I mean? When you look at the stats, my stats versus his stats, our stats are a lot similar. I have a couple more finishes over him, knockouts, but our stats are a lot similar. The only difference is he doesn't have one world title, but he has 2 world titles. When he conquered both world titles before Connor did it, I was saying these are things that I'm going to do, and these are things that I'm going to do. So, yeah, there's nothing but respect to him. But at this moment, he's a pawn in this game of chess, and he's standing in my way. So that's where he needs to be removed from the board.
Yeah, we've seen in your career, AJ, you've had some of the most spectacular finishes I know you kind of like I oohed and awed over your submission win last year. We talked to you got submission of the year, and we gave you submission of the year last year. So you've done some spectacular things in your career. When you look at Pitbull, obviously I know you're training like he is the greatest fighter in the history. You're training for him like this is going to be the fight of your life. But stylistically, the way you train, the way you are, do you believe this could be as one-sided as many of your biggest wins?
Definitely. Definitely. Stylistically, this is the fight that we've prepared for since I first stepped foot in my professional career. He's been the man of the organization. So this is what we've prepared for. And that's the scary part, because it my dad calls it the easiest fight. And it's not as, oh, Pitbull's a rollover and it's easy fight. This is what we've prepared for. You know what I mean? So that's what he means by, oh, this is the easiest fight. Like, this is what we've prepared for since day one. All our techniques, all our combos, everything has been set up and prepared for Patricio. So I think he takes it personal when we say it's the easiest fight, but styles make fights, and my style does not match up well with his style. You can go back and watch when he fought Strauss. Strauss was a southpaw, and he set him on his ass with a straight left. He doesn't do well with that straight left. You know what I mean? The reach, the range, the speed, the power. Like, it's going to be a fun fight for me. And I think that's what's going to be key, is going in there and just having fun doing what I do best.
Yeah. Well, you think about, one of the wins he talks about a lot, and I get it. It was a big win when he knocked out Michael Chandler to become, two division champion. When you stand in the pocket and start winging shots with Patricio Pitbull, it's a game of, it's a 50-50 game of dynamite. You're just wondering which one of you is going to land first, but you've never been that guy. You've never just stood in the pocket with a guy and said, I'll take your punch to give you my punch. You're not that guy. And I think that's one thing that is a big difference between you and a lot of the guys who have fought Pitbull.
That, and they both have about the same reach. So you know what I mean? You got to fight. That's like having a fuse. They both got the same short fuse. So it's like, you know what I mean? Which one's going to burn out faster? It's whichever wind breeze catches that flame. You know what I mean? So for me, I got a lot longer reach. It's just going out there, doing what I do best, staying long, picking my strikes. And at the end of the day, he has to bring the fight to me. I know he's champ and I'm supposed to bring the fight to him, but this isn't that type of fight. You know what I mean? For me, it's going out there and just fighting smart, keeping my range and doing what I do best, and wait until he gets desperate and just capitalize on that opportunity.
Yeah. You told me in our last interview after you won your last fight, I think it was right after Pitbull fought, and we were talking about this fight before it was officially, like the date and everything. And you said in your mind, you already believe you're 100% the best featherweight in the world, whether you got a title around your waist or not. And that's not, I know you weren't taking shots at Alexander Volkanovski or Max Holloway or anybody else out there, but you said right now, I believe I am the best featherweight in the world regardless. But what would winning the Bellator title mean to you in terms of like your career? Because I know that's not the end goal. It's just one goal.
I feel it's going to open up the MMA world a little bit, just to go and show, because of the things that Pitbull beating Chandler, and then Chandler going over to UFC at 155 pounds and doing what he's doing. I honestly feel as well, Patricio Pitbull is definitely hands down one of the best 145ers in the world. But like I said, I am the best in the world. So I feel like that's just going to put that stamp on, okay, this kid really is the future of the sport. He is potentially and going to accomplish big things in his career, like he says, being undefeated his entire career, being the Floyd Mayweather MMA, and just, you know what I mean, being well spoken, being able to just be myself, but in a sport that hasn't really developed like the boxing world has yet. So I'm just looking forward to being the first one to do it, and just be real, the people's champ. You know what I mean? Just give the people what they want. And at the end of the day, I got a lot of fans right now hitting me up. You know what I mean? I like Patricio more. He's Brazilian. He's like, but dude, I just love the way you carry yourself. You're respectful. You're humble. And I'm like, for me, that's just the type of person I want to be. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to sit there and talk shit and try to badmouth this person. But hey, if you want to talk some shit, I'm free game to that too. You know what I mean? It's fuel to the fire. Because if you're willing to go to that level of talking smack and fueling the fire, I already know I'm in your head. You know what I mean? So for me, I enjoy it all, man. I enjoy it all. I just try to give the fans what they want. The fans want smack talking sometimes. You know what I mean? And yeah, there's definitely fighters in other organizations that I would like to get a hold of. So I don't know. We'll see how things play out and where things lead to. But at the moment, Patricio Pitbull is it. Brian Ortega choked me out with a triangle when I was like 19. So I definitely got to get back one day. Other than that, you know what I mean? Holloway was always my dream fight. And I feel like he has some of the most elite striking in mixed martial arts as well. So I'd love to test my skills with his skills and just see how things play out.
Yeah, I know the answer. I think I know the answer to this question already, but I'm going to ask it anyways because I know you do aspire to become a 2-division champion. Is there any part of you that believes that you're going to end up doing back-to-back fights with Pitbull? Because if you beat him on July 31st, then, obviously, again, you could say, okay, well, I'll give you a rematch, but now I want your 155-pound title. Like, is there any part of you that believes that's going to be your path in 2021?
Definitely. I feel after having 18 fights in this division, 18 fights in this organization at this division, what honestly is there left for me at 145 pounds? He's the 155-pound champ. So me speaking these things into fruition and just saying and believing and knowing that I'm going to be a champ. Yeah, we got to run that back. You know what I mean? Especially when I knock him out, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I was lucky." All right, well, let's do it again at 155 pounds. He's a big boy. He cuts a little bit of weight. I'm a big boy as well. But honestly, I don't really cut that much weight anymore because I'm just dialed in now. You know what I mean? I've got everything just locked in. I'm learning. I'm getting older. Weight cuts are right. I'm running more. Just training's better. So we just got to sit down and see how things play out.
Yeah. What do you feel like the future? I know this is a tough question to answer now because you're obviously a month or so away from a fight. But what does the future hold for AJ McKee after this? Like, if you obviously you have visualized winning, you visualize yourself holding that featherweight title, whether you knock him out or submit him, whatever happens on July 31st, you visualize yourself holding that title. What does the future hold for you? Because I know you've been asked this question a million times about Bellator versus the UFC and your long-term goals of things you want to do. But I actually read an interview with Pitbull the other day, and he said something. And listen, it's legit. He said, I understand the challenges people want to see fighting the UFC, but if they're not going to pay me correctly, why would I go there? To make less money to fight, just to prove that I'm better than Alexander Volkanovski or whoever else. And there's logic in that. Listen, I get it. You become Bellator champion. If Bellator's paying you very well and they're treating you like a champion, I understand the attraction of fighting Volkanovski or Holloway, as you mentioned, but if they're paying you half, what does that equal out in your head? I guess what I'm getting at. You know what I mean?
Definitely not, man. At the end of the day, this is a business, and this is how I take care of my family. This is how my father takes care of his family. So, the check's got to be right. That's mandatory. You know what I mean? If the check's not right, then don't even talk to me. And as far as UFC, I don't like their new belts. So it's like, if that was even an option, I want the old belt. Like that new belt, I don't like it. So I don't know. Money's always the key. It rules the world. So at the end of the day, we got to the numbers. Yeah, I completely agree with Patricio Pitbull on that. If they're not paying, then it's not a move. I feel like that's people wanting the hype and enjoying the hype trains. You know what I mean? And that's been a good part of the way that UFC has marketed their brand. They've done a great job at marketing UFC. People would call mixed martial arts UFC before they even knew what MMA was. And that comes from the marketing and the branding that they've done. So if they got the money, it's not like they ain't got the money. Write the checks. Shit, you know what I mean? Uncle Dana got that fat pocket. You know what I mean? So we can sit down and talk. For me, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm looking to break the Richter scale. I'm trying to do things Floyd did. $100 million check. I know pay-per-views and so forth. People are bringing in big money. So once I get an established name and an established following, sky is the limit, regardless of the following. Pay me what I'm valued. You know what I mean? Pay me what my skill set is. This is a sport. OBJ gets paid because he's the best athlete in the world, not because he's marketable. He's one of the best athletes. You know what I mean? Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, all these people, Kobe Bryant, they're paid because they're the best. LeBron James, they're paid because they're the best. They may not be the best well-spoken or you know what I mean, the best people inside or outside of the court, but at the end of the day, they're the best at what they do. So that's where they are compromised and compensated for their skill set. So that's kind of just my thing. You know what I mean? I feel I'm very well-spoken. I'm respectful. I got to switch at the same time. If you come at me crazy, I'm going to come at you crazy too. So I just want to do what's best for myself, my career, and my family, and at the end of the day, leave all the politics of the game alone and so forth, and just focus on being the best fighter I can be and giving the fans what they want, and that's entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a fallacy. Listen, the UFC's done a phenomenal job marketing, as you mentioned, but I think it's a fallacy that you have to be there to prove you're the best of the world. I think we've seen the best of the world is the best of the world. And obviously there's always going to be opinions and things like that, but Rory McDonald brought this up to me recently. He's like, listen, I fought in the UFC. The talent there's great. There's talent in Bellator. There's talent in PFL. There's talent in one championship. Like, it doesn't have to be just UFC to be the best in the world. And as you said, you 100% believe right now you're the best featherweight in the world, regardless of promotion.
That's why I said maybe we need to do something like boxing. We should do something like an old Pride days. You know what I mean? We'll take the best of the best and we'll do a tournament in one night with like 8 fighters. You know what I mean? 8 fighters, 2 from every organization, 1 FC, PFL, and UFC, Bellator. And we'll put together a stacked-ass roster, and I guarantee you I'm going to come out on top of that thing.
I love it. Before I let you go, AJ, I got to ask you, I go back a long ways with your dad as well, interviewing him over the years. Are we going to see your dad with the wrestling match with Captain Eric? He didn't seem that interested on that conference call, AJ. I got to be honest.
Hell no, he don't want that smoke. Okay, my dad's trying to fight, and I'm trying to get him to just relax. The dude's 51 years old, all natural. I'm like, bro, just chill.
I'm trying to fight.
Once a fighter, always a fighter. I get it, man.
Die by my sword.
I hear it.
I love it. I heard that on the conference call, the press conference the other day, and I was like, ooh, okay, I'd pay to see that. I'd pay to see that fight.
He don't want that smoke, man. He better keep them spiky shoes on, because if he don't, he gonna have something else spiking up his ass.
Well, AJ, it is always a pleasure catching up with you, man. Obviously, have a good rest of your training camp these next few weeks. I mean this sincerely, man. There's a lot of great fights coming up this year. I'm like everyone else. I'm excited for Conor and Poirier. I'm excited for Ngannou, Lewis, all these other fights, but I'm dead serious when I say your fight with Pitbull is the one I'm most excited about this year. I've been waiting for this one. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't rooting for this in the finals. So I cannot wait for July 31st. So thank you as always for the time. Good training camp. And hopefully next time we speak, I will be addressing you as champ.
Yes, sir. That's the plan. That's the goal. And that's what we're going to conquer. Thank you for your time, and appreciate you always, man.